in Arabi by James Joyce, there's a lot of Christian references, and there are many biblical aspects that take place, and it relates to how to read literature like a professor, because James says the wild garden behind the house contained a central apple tree. And if you read How to Read Literature Like a Professor in chapter 6, it talks about Adam and Eve, and how Eve ate an apple off the first tree, and it was like pretty much her sinning, and it kind of like lost her innocence, because um, she like shouldn't have sinned, especially since she was one of the first people on earth and she was God's creation. And um, in Arabi, the boy started to lose his innocence, because of how much he loved the girl, and he would start masturbating to her and stalking her, and just trying to think about and just thinking about her all the time. So they both kind of like, both of the themes are kind of losing their innocence in chapter 6 of How to Read Literature Like a Professor and Arabi. I'm going to relate How to Read Literature Like a Professor in an outpost of progress. In chapter 11 of How to Read Literature Like a Professor, Foster explains the concept of dehumanization. People can dehumanize each other in many ways, like stereotyping, racism, and killing each other. In an outpost of progress, Cairds and Carlyle, which are the two main characters, end up having an argument over sugar and chase each other with weapons. The fact that they're fighting over sugar just shows how much like people can be irritated by someone after spending so much time with them. And Carrot ends up shooting and killing Carlyle, which is an example of dehumanization. And after constantly thinking about it and seeing Carlyle dead, Carrot dehumanizes himself by hanging himself. And all of this happens when they start to go mad about thinking whether or not the boat that gives them their supplies will come back and save them from starving to death. And starving to death is also dehumanization, because everyone deserves that chance to be alive and live. I'm now going to explain how Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night and How to Read Literature Like a Professor relate. Do not go gentle into that good night pretty much means like don't accept or give in to death, no matter what circumstances. Dylan Thomas, the author of Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night, wants his father to live and keep fighting death, even though he is going blind and is very old. When Thomas states the oxymoron binding sight, he implies a flash of insight that relates to his father aging and going blind. Thomas also says that blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay, which means that maybe being blind isn't going to be as horrible as he thinks, and that you can like find positives to any negative no matter what it is.